Brother Russell, you want to give it to maybe about 7:35? See if a few more people join.
Give it 1 more minute and go ahead and start. They'll come in.
Okay.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Doing great.
Hey, how you doing, Brother Jennifer?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Okay. All right. We're at 7:33. Good evening. I am Gary Simpson, and welcome to Bowie Mitchellville's alumni chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated Public Speaker Series, proudly presented by the Senior Kappa Committee. The BMAC Senior Kappa Committee is proud to host and present the second public speaker series of this year. We would like to thank our POMOC, Joe Williams, for his support of this committee and for the speaker series and everyone that has joined this series tonight. Tonight, we are honored to feature the State Executive Director of the District of Columbia Small Business Development Center, located on the prestigious campus of Howard University, Mr. Carl Brown, who will present Networking Made Easy.
And you forgot to say I was a member of Bowie Mitchellville.
And is a member of Bowie Mitchell.
Yeah.
A proud member
Absolutely.
of Bowie Mitchellville.
Proud member of Bowie Mitchellville alumni. Yes,
Hey,
sir. Yes, sir.
good evening, everybody. It's my distinct honor and pleasure to be here. And believe me, with all that's going on in the world today, and specifically in the United States and right here in our backyards and nation's capital in Prince George's County, and our government being under assault and all the government workers being under assault. I mean, this topic tonight, the art of networking or networking made easy, is something that we all need to be reminded of. How to network properly, and that's why I chose this topic. But before I jump into that, I want to just tell you a little bit about my background. I'm the state executive director for the DC Small Business Development Center at Howard University. We've been around since 1979. Same time I hit the campus as a freshman. So this has been a distinct honor of mine in my career to be the leader of that organization at this time. And we are in some troubling times, believe me. So what does the DC SBDC do, and what do we offer? Confidential one-on-one counseling, industry and business intelligence and reports. Major corporations don't make a decision without business intelligence or reports, whether it's demographic information or industry trends. They all read this information before they make a decision. We're trying to teach small businesses that they have to do the same thing. We do loan package review, and we work with a lot of banks, CDFIs, and credit unions, and other financial institutions to help our small businesses get the funding that they need and that they're looking for. We provide a lot of workshops, webinars, and conferences. Topics include patent and trademarks, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, social media operations, supply chain, finance, QuickBooks, franchising. And this is one that we really need to pay attention to: buying an existing business. And why do we need to pay attention to that? Because a lot of people that are about to lose their jobs in the government, they're going to march into my office looking for small business help. And guess what? To replace that six-figure income as a small business owner with no prior experience, it's going to take you a long time. It's going to take you at least 18 to 24 months. So that's why we're going to be talking about with them buying an existing business, because 4.1 million Americans may retire this year, according to the US Census, not Carl's crazy numbers. And that's baby boomers retiring, okay? So we have partnerships with organizations like Biz Buy Sell and Transworld Business Advisors. And they're like business brokers, like a real estate broker, but they help sell businesses and they attract buyers to the ones that are for sale in their portfolio. Then another thing that we do at the DC SBDC is we have a marketplace. It's like a Etsy or Amazon. And what distinguishes us is that I do not charge our stores on our marketplace any money. All right. So if you sell something for $100 on Amazon, they get 30, you get 70. You sell something for $100 on our marketplace, you get the whole $100. Okay. And the reason why I do that is because I use this platform as a training tool for product placement, e-commerce, marketing, cybersecurity. We use it as a training tool, so we don't charge. All right. All of the services that I talked about prior to counseling, industry intelligence, loan package review, we do, and workshops, we do all that for free. Those are your tax dollars at work. So, and then people ask me all the time, well, is it free the first time? No, we have clients that have been around 4 or 5 years. It's free the whole time, So we've had them when they started, and now they're coming back for a refresh, or they're coming back because they want to pivot into another industry. So we help them with that. So all of these things are free. These are your tax dollars. And believe me, I got the best and brightest working for me. So, and these are not students, by the way. A lot of people think, oh, you got a whole bunch of students working with you. No, and when we do get students, we try to get the JD MBA students that have had experience in between going to law school, meaning they worked for a small business or had a small business. So all of my counselors are small business owners. So that's the actual background that I look for when I'm hiring counselors, because it's good to have book sense, but if you never used it practically to run a business, it's hard to have that conversation with a business owner when they're talking about, hey, I don't have money for payroll for Friday. Unless you've gone through that, it's kind of difficult to have that conversation with somebody. And then one thing that I do want to bring any business owners and those that are on that are not business owners, but I want you to tell your friends that are, the beneficial ownership information report is now due March 21st of this year. All right. Now, this thing was supposed to be due January 1, and they postponed it, and then there was, lawsuits and all that. But at this point in time, I received an email today stating that it is now back on and due March 21st. So if you need any additional information on what it is, you just go to fincen.gov/BOI. fincin.gov/BOI. If someone can put it in the chat, that'd be helpful. Now, this thing is really easy to fill out. I've done it because I'm a small business owner. In addition, one of the things that you have to look out for is if there are other owners, say like I have a business and then my brother or cousin owns a percentage of the business with me. If they own 25% or more, they have to fill this out. But if they don't, if they only own 10%, they don't have to worry about it. And what do you need to fill this thing out? A driver's license or a passport. That's all. And it takes you about 5 minutes to do. You know, who's the owner? What's your address, phone number, all that. That's all it is. So it doesn't ask you what you do and all that, just who you are, what and where you live. What they're trying to find out through this is if you are a foreign entity. That's all. And if you are, you know, what are you up to in America? Bottom line. Now, I had talked about some of the things that we've done and what some of the things that we do. We have tomorrow, in fact, we have our Black History Month celebration pop-up. So all of our marketplace stores will be in the lobby of the School of Business selling their products and services from 11 to 2. It's one of the benefits of being associated with us and having a marketplace under the DC SBDC. Now in May, don't have a date yet, but we are doing this in May. We're going to have our annual resource fair. We do it every May. After, I can tell you this much, it'll be after Mother's Day. Reason being is kids, the students have graduated and the campus is empty. So it's best time to find parking. So we do it in May. We're going to have other government agencies there from Department of Licensing and Consumer Protection, Department of Small and Local Business Development, the Coalition, WACIF, LEDC, PNC, TD, and the Patent and Trademark Resource Center, and a host of other folks. We'll probably have GSA. If the government allows folks to come out, I don't know, it's a little early to tell, but we usually have government agencies talk about procurement opportunities because, you know, during the summer, that's when they spend all of their money. And so we invite them to come out and talk about all the great opportunities that are available for the last minute flurry of spending that takes place between July and September 15th. So now let's get into the art of networking. That's why we're here tonight. And I've broken it down into 4 parts: the why, the don't, the how, and the what. What do you want to get out of it? All right. So the why, and I'm going to give you a definition of networking. It's building and maintaining professional relationships to exchange information, opportunities, and support. Now, why does networking matter? For job seekers, it is said that 85% of jobs are filled through what? Networking, right? People hire people they know or that know somebody. In this day and time, when you're talking about thousands, tens of thousands of government employees about to lose their jobs in the DMV, it's incumbent upon us, if we know about openings at our place like Howard, I know we got about 100 openings. You got to let people know. I mean, we just can't let people fall by the wayside. It's, you know, we can't destroy our county either. Believe me, because if everybody's unemployed, they ain't paying their taxes, they ain't paying for their houses, and we'll see a whole tsunami of financial ruin going on around here. And we can't allow that and allow that to happen. And then for small business owners, why networking matters is that word of mouth and connections drive sales and partnerships. So that's what people are looking for. The goal of this presentation is to provide strategies and best practices for effective networking. Because I am going to talk about the don't, because I see that a lot, because I'm out there all the time. Now, the different types of networking, we have in-person networking, where you go to conferences, meetups, networking events. Online networking, where it's like you're invited to something like this, or LinkedIn, or industry groups, or social groups meet up on online. Then you have informal networking with family, friends, former colleagues. So those are three types of networking events. Strategies. Well, you definitely want to do this. And we've been talking about this for 30 some odd years, developing a strong elevator pitch. When you meet somebody of substance, somebody that you want to network with, the last thing you want to do is start going, and because they don't know and they don't want to be bothered. Okay? Let's be clear about it. If you're not clear about who you are, what you do, and how you do what you do, in 1 minute or less, they don't want to be bothered with you. And let me tell you one thing that happened to me. I went to a luncheon, Steve Case. They were celebrating Steve Case's book he went around the country in the Winnebago, the small and rural areas and places like Detroit and Baltimore and Pittsburgh, what they call dying cities, all right? And they, believe it or not, they included Baltimore as a dying city because there's no industry. So a lot of people were there, and Steve Case gave everybody a copy of his book. So I had a copy of my comic book that I wrote about financial literacy. And I gave one to Steve Case. And as we were leaving out, one of the folks that put on and paid for the luncheon was this guy named James Jordan. And he did it through his family foundation. Now, I didn't know who James Jordan was, but I knew he was somebody important because him and Michael Milken, and I'm a New Yorker, so I know who Michael Milken is. But for those that don't know, Michael Milken was the junk bond king of New York and was fined by the SEC $500 million and went to jail for a year and a day, whatever the day means, but a year and a day. And he wrote that $500 million check, without even blinking an eye. Okay. And now Michael Milken is building out some kind of futuristic city within Washington, D.C. Very cutting edge. But anyway, so he and Mr. Jordan was sitting together at the table with Steve Case. So I knew this guy was important. So I handed him we were walking out together toward the elevator, and I recognized this guy as like an important guy. So I said, well, Mr. Jordan, can I give you one of my comic books on financial literacy for children? And he was like, sure. So he opened it up, he looked at it. I was telling him that this book is about investing, saving, budgeting, and spending for kids and teaching them how to save money and prepare for the future. He said, hey, somebody would be in touch with you, put the book in his satchel, got in the elevator. I had to go get my coat, so I couldn't go down with him. And so I said, man, that was the quickest blow off I ever had in my life, right? No. This was like Wednesday. Friday, I had a FedEx box sitting on my conference table when I walked in the office from Mr. Jordan with a handwritten note from him, and he's a billionaire, to me saying, hey, we want you to come and speak to our scholars down in Florida. And they paid for the whole trip, first class, presidential suite in the hotel, limousine to, from, all around. Not didn't even blink an eye, and he's paying for 100 kids to go to this school outside of Fort Lauderdale, all black, and it's $26,000, and this was last year, $26,000 tuition to go to this school, and he has built a football stadium that is probably is better than University of Maryland's, and their training facility, I know rivals, if y'all ever seen the one that University of Oregon has, if you haven't, go check it out. Their training facility rivals that, and these are high school kids. So I went down there with that. So that's what the art of networking will do for you, all right? Building relationships. You got to actively listen and ask open-ended questions. You can't be always talking. You're the one trying to learn. You're trying to get a mentor. You're trying to get in. So you got to listen to what they got to say. And I'm telling you, listening sometimes is difficult, but it's an art to listening, especially when you're negotiating. And I always say, when you communicate with a purpose. Tell them a story. So the importance of following up. Mr. Jordan followed up with me, sent me the box, and outlaid everything that his foundation does, who it does it for, who sits on his board of directors and all that. And there's a lot of former NFL players on his board of directors. His son, who now runs the foundation, worked for the Colts and the Rams, got 2 Super Bowl rings as an executive. All right, not a player. Jordan went to University of Notre Dame. And, you know, when we talk about, hey, he's got a building with his name etched in stone, you can look on the campus and find the Jordan building yourself. Yeah, his name's etched in stone. He's given Notre Dame over $160 million. So this guy's about it. He's about it. And like I said, I didn't know anything about him, but I knew he was important when I was talking to him, and that anyone who was paying for that luncheon was an important person. So develop that elevator pitch, because that's what's going to get you in. If you're all over the place, believe me, nobody's got time for that. They're not paying attention, and they're trying to get away from you. All right? So let's figure that out. Now, they say follow up with an email or a LinkedIn message. Let me tell you something. I don't know about you, but I get a lot of emails every day. I get a lot of text messages every day. I mean, from random people, organizations, all that. But my mailbox that's on my desk got cobwebs in it. So anything that hits that thing, my secretary comes in and says, oh, here's some mail for you. I'm opening it. It's like getting a Christmas card or a birthday card. You know, you want to look at it. So I say, go the old-fashioned way, send them something in the mail. All right? If you want to follow up with somebody, I say, send them something in the mail, because they're going to look at that thing. All right? And when you communicate with them, you want a detailed information on maybe a current project you're working on, or a new product that you may have if you're a business owner, or just talk about, you know, hey, I'm at my old job, I was doing this. Now I'm looking forward to doing something new, you know, that kind of thing. But you don't want to ask them to help you during the initial stages of you networking. Last thing you want to do, you want to show value before you do the ask of, I need some help. You want to show them why they should want to help you, as opposed to you leading off with, oh, can you introduce me to this one? Or Could you write a letter or, one of those things? No, that's not the way to do it. All right. Send them pictures, articles. And if there's anything that you wrote, research paper or whatever, send that to, the person you're trying to network with, because that defines you head and shoulders above everybody else. Because most people are going to be asking for something. Can you do this for me? Can you do that? Or my nonprofit needs some money. Last thing they want to hear. They don't even know you or your nonprofit. And the first thing out your mouth is, oh, can you give me some money? No, I can't give you no money. I don't even know you. What do you do with your money? So you got to be strategic about these things. And like I said, we're getting ready to have a tsunami of people unemployed. So you don't want to be in that category of asking for a job and all that, even though that might be the ulterior motive, and I'm talking about somebody new. Folks that you've been networking with for years, hey, it's okay if you point out that, hey, I'm in the job market at this point. You've heard about all these layoffs and news. I've been one of them, bang, bang. I'm looking for opportunity. People will help you on that. But those are people that you already know. I'm talking about people that you're trying to get to know. The last thing you want to do is ask them right away for a job or something like that. So again, engaging with industry content or anything that you've written is better when you communicate with these folks. If you've written a story, like I would send out, this presentation to somebody, oh, hey, here's a presentation I did for the Bowie Mitchellville Kappa Alpha Psi chapter, and we got good response on this, blah, blah, blah. Tell me what you think about it. Leave open-ended question on there. Common networking mistakes and how to avoid them. Being too self-centered. When you're having a conversation with somebody, it's all about you. They don't want to hear that. It has to be a two-way conversation. Two-way conversation. Not following up or following through or following up too aggressively. And I get this from a lot of women. They tell me about this, business lunches, and then it was like, they were trying to make it a date. If it's a business lunch, keep it that way. I mean, that's the last thing you want to do. There were a lot of women business owners, and they need opportunities and everything else like men do. But if you're just trying to use your position as a dating apparatus, that's not the way to do it, and that's definitely not the way to network. Neglecting to maintain long-term relationships. I mean, you don't never talk, you don't never respond to nothing, you don't never go nowhere, you don't never talk to anybody, you don't reach out to people. I'm always reaching out to folks, man. It only takes you a hot minute. People call you up, you call people up, say, hey, man, I was thinking about you. How you doing? How's things going on in your world? I mean, I've been reaching out to a lot of my friends that work in the government, trying to check the pulse on them, see how they doing. They might need to have a conversation with you, And at this point in time, I don't need anything from them, but they might need something from me. They might need me to say, and I always do, check Howard's website, or if I know that I'm calling somebody that has a certain background, I check to see if Howard or Maryland or one of these universities is looking for somebody like that. And I say, oh yeah, I saw something that American University website. You might want to check it out. Help them out. Help them out. I mean, we about to hit a wall in a minute, and we just can't be here holding cards close to the vest and not helping folks. Practice, I can't say this enough. I really can't. Practicing your elevator pitch. Hey, do it in front of your family. If you got, your husband, your wife, your kids, and ask them for feedback, because one of the things that you don't want to do is go, and we heard speeches like that. We've all heard them. It's like, I cringe every time I hear that. And one of my homeboys is famous for saying, LL Cool J. I mean, that dude, my God, he'll say that like 10 times in one sentence. It's like, LL, I don't know. Tell me, fill in the blanks, bro. I don't know what you're talking about, man. So, but yeah, constructive criticism goes a long way, you know. So, say you at an event, all right, and you're meeting people and you're talking, you're networking, you want to stay focused on that event. So, say if you're a pediatrician and you at a medical conference and they talking about innovative things in pediatric healthcare, and you're talking to somebody new, you want to talk about that. Conversation can go in other directions, but you want to start with that theme that's already there, the common theme, because people want commonality when they're trying to develop a relationship. Okay. You coming from one side and talking about, okay, we can start off with football, and they might not even be a football fan, but they're there at the conference talking about pediatric healthcare. So that's the commonality. So you want to stay on point with that. If it's cybersecurity, same thing. You want to stay on point with cybersecurity, how it affects small businesses, how it affects you as a person. Stay on point. You know, and then when people reach out to you after you go on to these events, reach back out to them. I get a lot of emails after I go to events, and sometimes it's, I can tell you, it makes you, really think about things. Some of the conversations, some of the things that people have said to me, how what I said to them impacted them. It's really heart wrenching, to be honest with you. I mean, that you can affect somebody in a real positive way to make them make a change in their life. You know. Now let's talk about the don'ts real quick. And I don't want to dwell on this too much, but you don't want to focus on yourself, right? You don't want to ask for favors too soon, right? We talked about that. You don't want to be overly aggressive or pushy or pesky. You want to be neutral. You want to move slow, steady, and strategically, all right? Don't neglect to follow up with them if they follow up with you, follow up with them. If it's somebody you really want to meet with, have a relationship with, follow up with them, And like I said, use the U.S. mail. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's sending cards and letters, capability statements. So if you're in the government sector and you're trying to do business, you definitely want to send them a capability statement. This is what I could do. You a small business, you want to talk about this is what I can do. And this is what I could do for you. Now they also say you got to look at the body language, because that'll tell you something right there. If they want to be bothered, they don't even have to say anything. They give you the crazy look, or they looking at their watch, or they looking past you or whatever. It's time to move on. Don't make it, it ain't a bad thing. You just got to understand. You just got to, be in the moment, understand what's going on, And here's one that, some people really, really need to learn. Don't talk negatively about issues, people, your former job, all that. I mean, people don't want to hear that. I'm sorry. People, and this is somebody that may be able to do something for you. And, they might be staying there and you're going, man, my last boss was a dog. He was awful. He was this, he was that. That may be all true, but keep it to yourself. All right? You want to keep things on a positive, upbeat level. You don't want things to go down in the dungeon. Who wants that? I mean, just think about it. Who want to hear that conversation? Nobody. Last thing, don't forget to offer value. All right? Networking is a two-way street. Think about how you can help the other person. whether it's through introducing them to people in your network or a different opportunity or something that you found out about. All right. Now let's move into the how. How to become a master networker. All right. You know, you want to view networking as an opportunity to give value. All right. I just got an email. Somebody want to pay me $150 for an interview. Focus on building long-term relationships, not just making contacts. All right. Your approach to networking should be with curiosity and openness. You want to learn something about these people that you're talking to. Last thing you want to do is be viewed as a user, because that people will talk about you real quick. I'm telling you. And I can't say this enough. Perfect your elevator pitch. It has to be clear, concise, and compelling. It's about you. What do you do? Who do you help? And how you add value. And it doesn't have to be that long. And let me tell you something, folks. If you know anything about AI, you can plug in your elevator pitch and ask AI to make it concise. Make it clear, make it to the point, and make it no more than 2 sentences long. See what it spits out. That's what AI is all about. I mean, but that and many other things. Now here's some real simple, right? Real simple. An example of an elevator pitch. Hi, I'm Carl Brown. I'm the host of the Small Business Report, where I interview entrepreneurs and share insight on business growth. I love connecting with small business owners. And what is your business challenge right now? So I told them what I do, and I asked them, well, what's your challenge? You see, I put it back on them so they can open up and talk about their challenges so that we can have that conversation, right? Be a good listener. Instead of saying, I do coaching, ask them, what is the biggest challenge you're facing in your business right now? Or what is the biggest challenge you're facing in your life right now? Bang. You changed it all around. It wasn't about you. Now, the next thing is building a online presence. And I know I'm watching the clock and I'm, trying to get through this thing. I'm trying to give you all a lot in a little bit of time, but, bear with me because I think it's important. And hopefully Arthur will invite me back if we don't get through this whole thing. But optimize your LinkedIn profile with professional photo, detailed bio, and regular updates. I mean, last thing you want to do is have a LinkedIn profile that you haven't done anything with in 2 to 3 years. You ain't collecting friends at that point. If you got a website, make sure it's up to date. And I can't tell you pictures and research material, if there's any papers that you've written. And I don't care how small you might think it is. It might be the exact thing that somebody else needs. All right. Don't belittle what you do. It could be the one thing that they were looking for, and here it is. They found you and your paper, and they can use it to help them grow their business. And this is somebody that you're trying to network with, so they feel like they owe you something at that point because they're utilizing your paper. So I mean, these are easy things to do. Join and engage in industry groups. In addition to being on LinkedIn, Facebook, and other forums, some people use TikTok, some people use Instagram. Whatever, social media you use, make sure it's current, up to date, and has your contact information on there and everything pertinent about you. And I can't say this enough. you want to present at different conferences, you want to be looked at as the expert, okay? Whatever that may be. I do a lot of presentations on small business development. Just today, I was on a podcast earlier. Guy out in Chicago had me on his podcast. Invited to go on a radio show in San Francisco just today. All right, and invited by an organization by the president of the organization to present at their conference just today. So, I mean, you never know who you're affecting. And the whole thing about the art of networking is to have people talking about you in rooms that you're not even in. Okay? Because let me tell you something. How I got on the History Channel show, The Food That Built America, not because I'm a cook or a chef, but because the producer listens to my radio show, The Small Business Report, and they sent me an email, which I blew off because I was like, well, I don't cook. I don't know nothing. I thought it was fake anyway. And they sent me a follow-up one, thank God, and I followed up with them on that one and was on, I think I'm on like 7, 8 episodes of Food That Built America. Then they put me on Toys That Built America. Then they put me on Fast Facts of History. So I talked about the mafia and Dave Thomas, who's the founder of Wendy's. Very, very, very interesting guy. And all these things you got to do your research on and your homework on. So it's not like they just invite me on TV and I know all this stuff. No, they gave me an outline. They said, hey, this is what we're going to discuss. And it was up to me to do the research. So I had 3-ring binders full of information on Wrigley's Chewing Gum, Monopoly, Sorry, Matchbox, Hot Wheels, all that, G.I. Joe, Barbie, all that stuff. I had to do research on all that, And I asked them at the end of the first session, we did about 3 hours. I was sitting in the chair being filmed for 3 hours, and it was just a litany of questions. And I said, well, as we were waiting on the car to come pick me up, I said, well, how'd you guys find me? And the producer said, oh, I listened to your radio show. So you never know who's listening, who's paying attention. So that's why I'm talking about presenting. When you go to these conferences, it's one thing to be there, sit in the chair, and you're in there, and you've been doing this for 5, 6 years. If you've been going to these things for several years, it's time for you to present. It's time for you to take a leadership role and present as an expert at these events, at these conferences. So if there's anything that you take away is perfect your elevator pitch and present. I mean, these things are real important for your professional and small business growth because now you're viewed as the expert and these things go a long way. All right. Another thing, when you're writing, it doesn't have to be a dissertation. It could be a 1-pager. It could be five hot trends in financial literacy, 7 trends in supply chain management. It could be all that. It could be bullet points. But the end game is for you to be viewed as the expert and to present. You want people to ask you to present at these events. Okay? Now, when you go to these events, and say you're not presenting, or say you are, doesn't matter. You're still at the event. You don't want to hang, and I see people doing this all the time. You don't want to hang with the same people you came with. That's defeating the purpose of networking. You want to find, like I set a goal. I want to meet 5 new people. When I go to these things, I want to meet 5 new. I don't have to walk around the room saying I want to meet 5 new people. but that's my internal goal. I want to meet 5 new people. Maybe I meet 10. I don't know. But the goal is to meet a minimum of 5. And if I'm there a whole week, it might be 5 a day. I don't know. So you want to set a goal of meeting new people. You want to eat lunch with different people. I see people, yeah, like folks that I go to conferences with, they're all sitting together. I'm always sitting on the other side of the room with new people because that's why I'm there. Okay. You can either do one or the other, but I'm saying if you want to network, if you want to grow, if you want to be able to be known as the expert, you got to stretch out. You just can't do what you normally been doing because there's no growth in that. So there ain't no growth professionally because nobody will know you other than the people you came with. And there's no, as a small business owner, there's no growth in that because again, nobody knows me because they all came with me. So those are my friends, and I mean, I can't depend on them to support my habit going forward. They're not gonna buy all this stuff from me. So, but then again, hey, different things for different people. But I'm just giving you strategies and things that are successful in helping people be successful. Follow up and stay in touch. Again, a personalized message, email, LinkedIn, text, US mail, after you leave the conference, hey, it was great meeting you. And oh, by the way, here's my, paper on, networking, or small business development, whatever it is, or marketing, or this is an innovative thing that I've ran across and I think you could benefit from it. Okay. Keep the relationship warm by checking in periodically. I mean, that's what it's all about. If I don't hear from you for 3 to 5 years and then you call me up and say, well, hey, Carl, can you do this for me? What? But if we've been talking, and I'm talking, I'm networking with people all over the planet. Okay. Yesterday we were talking to folks in Uganda. I helped Kenya open up small business, the country of Kenya in Africa, open up 6 small business development centers in Kenya. I helped Norway. I've done lectures for Norway, Italy, Slovenia, Egypt. I had an intern from Lebanon. All right. So, I mean, I'm doing stuff worldwide. And I'm not saying that that's what you got to do. That's what I'm doing. But your networking might be on a smaller scale right here in the DMV, which is a good thing. It's a great thing. Don't look at other people as what they're doing is what you need to do. Figure out what you need to do so you can be good at doing it. All right. Knowing who you are and who you're talking to, um, is you got to notice, because I get a lot of people that through yeah, Arthur.
Hello. I was just wondering, will there be time to have questions? Because we're at 8:20.
Yeah, give me
And you're interesting is your topic is very interesting. That may lead to a part 2, but will there be time
yeah,
for
yeah,
questions?
that's what I'm thinking because I'm only halfway done, man. hey, I try to be as comprehensive as possible, man, because you never know, man. People really need this stuff. And I'm trying to do, but yeah, let's go ahead and do Q&A now. All right, let's go. Any questions pop up.
Hello, everyone. My name is Arthur Russell. I am the chairman of the Bowie Mitchellville Senior Capital Committee. And right now we are at the point of questions and answers. So does anyone have a question?
Don't be shy.
Well, I do. I have a question. I have 3 of them.
All right, man. Fire
One,
off.
you came on with some vital information about the business center. I want to know, is the resources privy only for DC residents or anyone?
Yeah, my center is for the District of Columbia. Now, every state has a small business development center, every state. And we are in the territories. So we're in Guam, Puerto Rico, American Samoa, U.S. Virgin Islands, and the Marianas Islands. So we're everywhere. So if you're in Virginia, Virginia's SBDC, the headquarters is at George Mason, but they have offices located throughout the entire state. Same thing in Maryland. The headquarters is located at the University of Maryland, College Park, but they're located in Montgomery, Prince George's, the city of Baltimore, Baltimore County, Howard County, Towson. So you can find us. The way you can find us is going to Americas with an S, Americas SBDC.org, Americas with an S, SBDC.org. And you can find us, and all you got to do is put your zip code in, and you can sign up for services. And like I said, they're all free. Yep, you got it, Arthur. And the services are free. They're for you. We've been around since 1979, and we're helping small businesses all over the planet, and we like to help you as well.
I have another question.
And let me just tell you, you can go on any SBDC website and sign up for the workshops, because we all offer workshops, and 99% of them are free. Go on there. You can go to Chicago, Atlanta, whatever, wherever. Sign up hours. Sign up for the workshops. They're free. We got something for everybody.
Okay, so you were talking about that BOI. If you have a
Mhm.
business, do you have to file that yearly or
No,
just
it's one time.
okay?
Now, the
So
only time you have to update it is when there's a change in ownership. So say you're 100%, but then you give your business partner 50%. Now you have to change your BOI to include your business partner.
okay. Now, last question, and more or less an opinion that I like, to know about. And I know about the troubling times that you mentioned, and we may hit a wall, but I have hope, and I want to see where your hope is. Do you see a resurgence of a Black Wall Street in any kind of manner?
That's why I do what I do every single day, brother. All right. If we gonna have one, it's gonna come through the campus of Howard University, and we're working with a lot of different people. We have spent the past 2 days in my office strategizing for this onslaught of new people coming in. And like I said, some of them will be redirected to franchising and others to purchasing a small business, how to do that, and other opportunities. And others will be, helped by our staff to help start them with their entrepreneurial effort. So, it doesn't happen by chance. So we've been strategizing and meeting as a collective in Washington, D.C. And I'm hoping, I know in California, because I talked to folks in California this week, and New York, they were doing the same thing that I'm doing. And I'm gonna be on the national call 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, and I'll find out more from other state directors how they are preparing for this tsunami of people coming in. Because during the pandemic, let me just put it in perspective for you. Before COVID, we were working with like 800 businesses a year before COVID. When COVID hit, our number went up to 1,600. All right, doubled. And thank God we got CARES Act funding, so I was able to hire more counselors. But that CARES Act funding went away, but the number of businesses coming into my shop, and I just did my 24 numbers because I had to submit my report to the SBA the end of January. I did 1,672 businesses last year. All right. So that 800 number ended in 2020. That was it. That was the last time. So we've been up to 1,600 ever since.
Excellent. Are there any other questions?
Yes, Brother Russell, I have a question for Brother Brown. And it's relating to the elevator pitch. As that's something that we, when I was in grad school at AU in film, when we were doing film projects, we always talked about being ready to pitch your film because you never know who you're in the elevator with. So
That's
you
right.
had to be precise with kind of thinking about how you're going to pitch your film, or, you had to practice that pitch, like you said. But when it comes to business, and one of the things I think too with the pitch is, I think with your pitch, you have already practiced it, but sometimes your environment and who you're with is kind of going to dictate how you're going to kind of come out with it, or how you're going to present it. Maybe do you agree, or how would you say just stay neutral and all? Because it could be someone that you got people that want to talk more than they want to listen, and vice versa. But how do you get that pitch out to that individual that might be a little kind of like standoffish, but he will be the person that you want to talk to? I got to get my pitch to this guy.
Oh yeah.
He's the kid.
And again, that body language tells you a whole lot. But you want to be your authentic you. All right. You want that to come across, that you genuinely want to meet this person. And I get it. You may be at an event, like an industry event, like the Oscars or something like that, and you trying to make a pitch. I would curtail it to a follow-up. Is there any way I can meet with you in your office or maybe over dinner to discuss this in detail? Because it's important to you. And your authentic you should come across that, hey, I know we're busy. I know you're busy. I don't want to take up all your time. I just want to give you a sound bite on this project I'm working on. And this is it. Boom, bang, bang. 1-2 sentence most. Move it on. Can I have your card? Let me follow up. We can have a deeper conversation. And then maybe send them a treatment or whatever on what you're doing. So you get to move in the direction that you want to go in. But understand, everybody ain't gonna buy your donuts, And so we just got to be able to deal with that and keep it moving, keep it flowing. You got to do the best you can, make your pitch, see if you can get in, and if it's a roadblock, hey, okay, at least I tried. I know where this guy stands. Let me go to the next one.
Yeah. And one more just to add to that. Now, say say you're providing a service, or you're selling something. Your pitch is going to differ, right? Then because it's kind of a little different when if you're selling something, you got products that you sell, you make, you whatever you do. What would you say your guidelines, if it's any, if you're a person that's into that type of business of you got
Well,
products, all that kind of stuff?
how? Okay, you with that, you want to lead with the differentiator. What makes your deodorant different than the next guy's deodorant? Not in a negative way, but a upsell on yours. Well, our deodorant doesn't have any aluminum in it, and it's all natural. What is the difference between yours and standard in the industry? You know what I'm saying? Okay, our coffee beans are curated from this region in Peru that the temperature doesn't go under 72. I mean, whatever that little thing is that differentiates your product from the next guy, that's what you want to talk about. You don't want to say, oh, our coffee's better than Starbucks, they suck, because then you don't turn me off. I may be the biggest Starbucks drinker in the world, but if you say, well, hey, my coffee beans are from this region of Peru where it's dry and the temperature never goes below 72, and we find that it enriches the coffee bean and that it gives a different aroma. Did you knock somebody else? No. You upsold your business. You upsold your product.
Thank you, sir.
All right, and talking about product, if you look at your screen now, that is a product of the business of Mr. Simpson right there. What timing?
What time?
So, are there any more questions?
I have one.
Okay,
I have one.
yes.
So let's say you have a business and another individual has a business, and you guys can kind of dovetail your strong suits. For instance, audio and visual, two separate areas. You want to bring them together. So I guess from a strategy standpoint and the administrative standpoint, what is the best approach?
Well, and it's funny you say that because that was one of the things I was going to talk about, collaboration. Again, you want to talk about your strong suit. This is what I bring to the table. I understand this is what you bring to the table. Let's figure out how we can collaborate, how we can work together, how we can go after opportunities together and enhance our customer experience. And so that's what you want to talk about right there.
All right. Are there any particular, keeping the paperwork straight, is there a particular area of concern that needs to be dealt with to make sure that, all the business goes the way it's supposed to?
Yeah, contracts. You want to do a contract with the person that you're collaborating with. Okay, you want to do a contract. You also want to do an NDA for both of y'all.
Non-disclosure.
Non-disclosure, exactly. Because you're talking about maybe proprietary things on your side and his side, and you don't want that information out there. Okay, especially if something goes south. But you want to do a contract with outlines both roles and responsibilities of each company. Okay, that doesn't make it a bad thing. It's a good thing. You want to outline the expectations of both parties. I'm going to provide this, you're going to provide that. Together, we're going to do this. And so you want all that spelled out, pricing, time, the timeline that it's going to, take to do it and make that delivery. You want all that because at the end of the day, you don't want to be left holding the bag. You got a customer waiting for the finished product and your partner is like dilly-dallying, not fulfilling, ain't returning phone calls, all that silliness, and you holding the bag and somebody's coming after you because they met with you. That's not what happens. That's not what you want. You want to make sure everything's spelled out in the contract between both parties. Put it all in there. We're going to do this by this day. You're going to do this by this day. We're going to present this to the customer by this day. We're going to get paid this amount. Which account is it going to go in? because customers, your actions are transparent to a customer, right? They're not going to pay me and you. They're going to pay one of us. So we got to make that determination and put it in the contract. They're going to pay me by the 15th of the next month, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm going to pay you on the 15th or the 16th, whatever the timeline is that we determine is effective and efficient for both parties. So
Good.
you want it done in the contract. And believe me, that's another area where we kind of fall down. You know, we want to do a handshake. I shake a lot of hands, but I ain't doing business with a lot of people.
Right. Are there boilerplate templates that maybe a novice could get their hands on?
Oh yeah, you could go AI. Go to AI and ask for a teaming agreement or a template on contract, and you put the more detailed information you put in the AI, the more you're going to get out of it. It's going to spit out what you're looking for.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if y'all not using AI, man, I'm telling you, just play around in AI. I went to the dentist today. They're using AI in the dentist office. And not for written stuff. My man brought up my teeth, and we're looking at the teeth on the screen, and he's pointing out the different things that I need to get done through AI. And he turned it off, and you can still see it. He turned it back on. It's color coordinated. So you're saying, I mean, this thing is like, it's here and it's here to stay. And it's a beautiful tool, and take advantage of it. That's all I can say. It would increase efficiencies. I mean, I was at a conference 2 weeks ago where we talked about AI in small business, in supply chain. I mean, it's a game changer. And, and it's a game changer for people that you don't have to be a small business owner. You could just be trying to do some professional growth, get to that next level, and so you feed the AI machine what you want it to spit out, and it will do the research. It not only will tell you, but it will give you reference points of where they're getting the information from. So if someone challenges you, oh, where'd you get that number from? Census Bureau. It'll tell you right there in the document. So, because you know how we are, we challenge each other over silly stuff. So when you hear something, you go, oh man, where this dude get that from? It'll tell you right there in the document where they got that from.
Well,
So AI is a game changer.
well, thank you, Mr. Brown. We'll have to end our questions. Gary Simpson, Mr. Gary Simpson will take over. I believe there's a slide with the next speakers that we plan to have. But Mr. Brown, we will be in contact with you for part 2. Okay.
There you go.
Absolutely. Appreciate you.
Gary,
Thank you,
it's
gentlemen.
yours.
All right.
Stay on, please.
Yeah, I'm on.
Thank you again, Mr. Brown.
Oh,
And
you're quite welcome.
yes, sir.
Appreciate that, sir. Good info.
You're welcome.
Presentation,
Thank you.
George.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank
Right.
you.
So this next slide has our next upcoming public speaker series, which is going to be Trevor Claiborne, aka Farmer Brown. And I've heard him before, and he has some real good information. So that's one of the ones you don't want to miss. Really sharp guy as far as the farming is concerned. Again, I would like to thank our poll mark Joe Williams and the committee chairs, Arthur Russell and Rodney Sutton, and definitely you, Mr. Brown.
Thank you.
For this successful public speaker series this evening. Also, we would like to present you with a certificate. Well, first of all, before I do the certificate, let me go back for a minute to this slide here to share information about BMAC's website, our Facebook, BMAC Noops, and we want to thank the Diamond Foundation of Bowie Mitchellville Alumni Chapter. And there's our website information right there. So I'll leave that up for a second if anybody want to take that information down. And so back to the important thing again, we have a certificate for you, Mr. Brown, and it's a certificate of appreciation, as you see right here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Presented on this 20th day of February 2025. And we will have this, you'll get this, we'll send this to you shortly.
Okay.
Now Carl,
appreciate it. Thank you.
Carl, you're only going to get one because you made this into a part 2.
Hey, that's okay. It's all love, brothers. It's all love. Hey, I do this every day for you, man. This ain't no one-off thing, man. I really appreciate you guys, allowing me to do this, and thank you too, Carl. So, hey, it's my honor and pleasure to be able to do this. So, thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Brother Russell, this meeting is recorded in cloud. It will be available at some point. I'm not sure what time for people to go back and view it.
Can you go back to our contact slide?
Yes.
Any of our speaker series will be on our YouTube channel. So please feel free to look at our YouTube. We ask you to like, make a comment, and share it. This is vital information. We are interested in serving our community. Our community extends to where you are sitting now. So we want to thank everyone for attending this event. Look for information for part 2 of the speaker series from Mr. Carl Brown. We want to thank everyone for attending. And I believe Gary wants to wish everybody a good night. Say it your way.
Absolutely. Until the next time, everyone, have a great rest of your evening. And thank you for.
All right.
All right.
All right.